so quick intros. My name is Cora. I'll be your host from Bildr today. And then we've got Josh and Drew from the Bildr team who are going to be sharing their wisdom and helping you answer your questions. Dorian is going to join, but probably a little bit later. He's working through some stuff right now. And essentially, this is just time for us to help you with some support in your projects, to answer questions, educate a little bit, and just get to know each other in the community. So as far as who we have here today, oh, Felicia is also here. She's one of our dev team members. So hey, Felicia, welcome. And it's good to have you. So we've also got Anne Kiritu. Is that how you say it? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's Kiritu. Yeah.
Kiritu. Okay, awesome. I'm glad to have you in office hours today. And then we've also got Darian and Masoud and Spaceman. So welcome. I'm going to do a quick recap of what we have on the agenda for today, because we had a few people request some assistance. And then if you're in the call and I didn't reference you, but you have something you want to chat about, just chat us in the channel like Darian just did, and we'll see how much we can knock out in today's session. So I think we can go ahead and get started. So first off, we have Anne, who is working some JS code and would like to know how to integrate it into a page that she's building. So we can start with you, and we've got Masoud, who's wanting some guidance on a server-side multiple select drop-down list. We've got some questions for Flip One Up regarding integrating libraries in Bildr. So maybe we can just give some basic, here's how you would start doing that. And we've got some questions for Prolex on the new Google Auth elements and how to trigger a server-side function from the front end. Okay, awesome. And then we'll add Darian into the call. So Anne, if you are ready, would you like to share your screen and walk us through?
Yes.
Okay, super. Let's do it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm excited about this part because it's a little challenging finally. So hopefully I can get some idea from today's session. So can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So the thing I'm trying to build here is users will typing some kind of response, and then there will be some backend algorithm that determines whether the response is acceptable against the pool of acceptable answers. So I was just playing around with, obviously I didn't type this, it's from my best friend and your best friend, ChatGPT, and through many iterations I got it to work. So basically, if I run it, and then I will be prompted to answer a text, but I obviously don't need this part because I already have the interface here. So I would type in, for example, hello, which is in one of the acceptable answers here, then it will say awesome. But if I type something like goodbye, which is not an answer, it will say like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? So that's the general idea. So this is working, and I'm wondering, is this like a library that I need to put in the page header or something? Because I don't know where to put this, first of all, and I'm not sure what to eliminate from here, because this part, the awesome and the response part, like the correct or incorrect part, that should be able to handle by the Bildr action, right? So I'm just trying to figure out, for example, what I have here, check step 1. It's like a logic check. If the message has a word, then it will enable the button. And then step 2, check answer. This is where I think the JavaScript code should go. I don't know about if I need to put anything for the variable or a variable name, but next one should be like, oh, you enable the continue button, or you have a correction window. And then after I enable the button, it will take me to the next page. So that's the flow I have here. So let me go back. Where am I? Oh, here. Okay. So I'm not too sure like what should go in here from the code that's working and what should be in the headers. Okay.
So yeah, you're correct about the header, the first part. So that script line, just that line is all you need, but you need to have that as a header and need to make sure that it's enabled on the page that you're on.
Okay.
That's step 1. That's actually pretty easy.
Okay.
And then for the rest, before we do it, I'll talk like a little bit of theory on like the options here. But basically what you've got there in that code,
Yeah.
you would keep that all intact. You copy all that code. What you change is the inputs and the outputs. So you'd add a little bit in the beginning that would take some builder values as inputs. You'd run all that same code. And then at the end, you'd output, instead of, outputting it into a text box like you are, you'd output it into like a builder variable or something. And so there's these little hooks that do that. But the rest of the JavaScript is like exactly the same. You don't need to change anything. So that's kind of the beauty of it.
How about for the prompt? Because I don't need the same.
So yeah, that's right now. I don't know how familiar you are with JavaScript, but what that line says, let user input equal that prompt.
Yeah.
Where it says let user input, that's basically saying create a variable called user input. And so it's not the same as a builder variable. Like, it won't be a builder variable, but what Builder does with variables is the same as JavaScript, so it's like, in your case, you would say, once it's in your app, you would say let user input equal, get it from the Builder page. And I can tell you how to do that.
Okay. So let's begin with the header. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Josh.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like just ADD over here. Gotta get the word in right. One thing I'm curious about is this feels like it doesn't need to be done in JavaScript.
So I wanted to talk about that before we went too much further in implementing. There's that fact, which I think actually you can probably do this potentially in an easier way within Builder itself. But the other component of it is, even if you want to use JavaScript, it sounds like something that you would want to make a custom action for, because you're going to be using this all over your app. And a custom action is basically a little bit more complex than using that JavaScript action that you put into your flow, that run JavaScript action. It's a little more complex to do a custom action, but it's way easier every time you need to use it. So you would essentially set up a custom action that takes in the lesson and the task, and it takes in whatever it needs to, looks into Builder for whatever it needs to inside the action, and then outputs what you need as a variable, like something like that. So that when you use it, it's almost like using a set variable action. Like, it's so easy. That's honestly a better approach in this case, but you could also do it the way you're doing and put all those functions in here. The difference would be if you are using this JavaScript stuff in multiple places and you have multiple run JavaScript functions, and then in the future you're like, oh, I want to change that a little bit. You have to go change it in like 4 or 5 or 10 different places.
I see. So for the custom action, then can I make changes to the acceptable answers? Because this is going to be different for each.
I mean, what you'd probably want to do, there's 2 ways in a custom action. You can either, when people use when you use the action, you'll have inputs where you set those acceptable answers, or you can, inside your action, if you have it in your data collection, you can even talk right to the data collection and just get them automatically. There's a couple of things you do, like if the acceptable answers are tied to, a lesson or a specific question or whatever. The action can just get them automatically all behind the scenes.
I like that.
I definitely love like what Drew said about how you can execute this in the action, or build like a custom action that is then works like all the other no code actions that we have. But I definitely think that this is something that I wouldn't use any custom JavaScript for. Like, I don't know. Do you agree, Drew?
The only thing is, I don't know, like, if you're doing anything special, but if you're basically taking in an answer that the user puts and then checking it against other answers, you can do that pretty easily, like all Builder native. You don't need any library. You don't need any custom JavaScript or anything.
Okay. So
what do you think, Anne? Maybe we should give her a minute to take in the information.
Oh no, I just don't know how that
the only
looks
thing
like.
the one thing that would be, because I see some stuff in here, like, are they writing an answer that could be a little different than the exact answer in your database?
Yes, exactly. Correct? Because I set the threshold at 60% like similarity. Gotcha. If they're like, if it's like maybe HIE, maybe it will get the right answer.
So in that case, I take it back. You should use this custom one, because Builder won't do that for you. So you will need this, but that's okay. But
thank you for checking this part. So I should stick to like using what I have here then, or?
So do you want to venture into a custom action? That's really the question, because basically my recommendation would be create a custom action for this, and we can definitely like help you with that, like anything else. If not, if you don't want to take that step, because there's like there's a couple more steps basically into it's a little bit more involved. If you don't want to take that step, we can set it up right now in what you have, and you can also even like convert it to a custom action in the future or just use it. It's kind of up to you. It's kind of like how deep do you go going?
I want the custom action, so I feel like a pro.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Real quick, let's do a check. We're 12 minutes in and we have some other things. How long is that going to take, Drew?
I would recommend, I'll send you a video about custom actions. I would recommend watch that first, and then we'll implement it. We can implement it like before next office hours. We can do it through Discord or something. Like it won't be crazy, but I think watching, like, it basically explains how the custom actions work. Watching that first will be like hugely helpful just to understand what we're about to do.
Okay.
And then it won't be too bad. Like, it's not the kind of thing where we need to go crazy. Like, we can do it through Discord, I think, pretty easily. You'll probably see once you see it.
You've already done something here that's harder than what this is going to take.
Okay, sounds good. Then I guess I will watch the video and then come back to you guys later. But this is really fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the video in the chat here. But if you like close out and lose whatever, just ping me and I'll send it to you. I'm finding the link right now.
Thank you.
And what we'll do is if we're done with these other things, and then let's just hop on back with you and we'll get started with it.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right. That's exciting. Anne is like leveling up every single time she comes. It's awesome. Okay, so let's check out, let me see. I think it was, let's see who's in the call. Maybe we had some more people join. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we've got Masoud here. So Masoud, you were wanting to know how you can build a server-side multi-select drop-down list. Can you give us a little bit more information about like your use case, and then we'll see if we can guide you?
Sure. Hello there. Thank you for your time. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please do.
Okay. If I want to share the perfect thing that I want to create, I will go with this multiple select from Material UI. I want something like this, that this list will come from the server. Okay. So I should be able to select multiple things. As you can see, as I select these things will eliminate from here. We won't, for example, see the Godfather. Okay, the Godfather 2 is not here, and I should be able to delete this. And sometimes I will get another array with just IDs of these two. So I should show them by default here. Okay, I think, I don't know which of you talked with Rajib, my coworker, and you introduced a way to create this. I wanted to create it. Actually, I'm kind of new with it. As you can see here, I created this. And as I click on this, I will run this onClick event, and I add that tag to the built-in data collection. I will add the ID and I will add the tag name. Right now, I have a problem. I don't know why this ID is not get used. As you can see, I logged it here, console logged it here. And let me show it here, data collection tags. Okay, let's load. Okay, it's just one, and it's police. Okay, so let's take a look at here. Actually, it's open console. For example, I click on this Xano, the ID is 35, the ID exists. And when I reload this, I get the tag name, police, okay, police, okay, but the tag IDs are not coming here. And about the rest of it after that, even if I can fix that to get ID there, I don't know how by clicking, for example, here, it's the item that I put into the repeating list. I don't know how by clicking on this, I can run an action in this page to reload that drop-down list, which is, not drop-down list, repeating list, to reload this to get the data. Here, for example, if I want to show that policy here, I should, for example, go back and come back again here. That actually it's not a good way. I should be able to reload it live. So what should I do for it? I don't know.
Cool. I think you're close. I think that should all be pretty doable. I would say let's fix that ID first.
Yeah.
It's like seems simple, hopefully.
I don't know what's the problem here. As you
yeah, I
can
was gonna
see,
say, look at that
I
action.
logged that.
I'm gonna ignore these Flutter flow tabs as well. Just let you slide on.
Flutter full. I'm not actually. I'm converting the app. Actually, they created the app with Flutter Flow before. I'm
there you
creating that app with Bildr because Bildr is so much better, and I didn't create that project on Flutter Flow. Let me close these.
That was properly defended. Thank you, Masoud.
Yeah, definitely Bildr is better than Flutter Flow.
We're okay. For us, it's like whatever the best solution for you is. So
For sure, yeah.
all right. So ID, what do you need to look at, Drew?
So right now it looks exactly correct. It's logging the ID. You're using current value, current page ID. You're exporting it there. So I think it's going to be like something like a little goofy. So I would say the first thing I'd try is click into the field a little bit under where your mouse is, where it says ID in the variable name field. Click into there and make sure there's no spaces or anything. Yeah, it looks like you're good.
No, there isn't anything, as you can see.
The Josh suggested toString, which is a possibility. We should try that in a second, but that actually shouldn't matter in Bildr, whether it's a number or a string in this case. What I would check next, if you go to the action, it says number 2, Bildr data collection, create record. If you hover over it, there's a little 3 dots pop up. So down from there on the number 2, yeah. Hit that 3 dots and hit the JSON.
Yeah.
And the JSON is gonna this is like, I don't know, you can stop me if you know this, but it's like everything that makes up this action, like all the action itself settings, all the settings that you're setting, everything's contained in the JSON. So in here, we can actually look, and this is like the source of truth, basically. So we can actually look and make sure that that field is coming through right. So let's see, fields, value to bring. You have tag name toString1, so maybe that's one thing, but yeah, keep going down. I'm just looking for that tag ID field.
Okay, here is it, variable name ID. This one, or
that already has toString1 on it. That's funny. Let's see, variable. Yeah, that looks correct. Bildr current. Very interesting.
Yeah, tag name. This one is tag name. Tag name is working just well, but ID is not working well. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, and they both have toString on them already.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird that I didn't see the toString in the interface. Like, I don't know what that means. Oh, there's no path field. That's why. But that's still.
here is it.
It doesn't matter. I'm just almost talking out loud. There's all these different fields do stuff, and there's some fields in here that only display it like in the studio. So it won't even affect what the action's doing. It'll just affect whether it shows the path or not in the studio. So I was just making a comment, trying to eliminate any possibility of weirdness. I think what we can do, the thing that Josh said is to try, you actually already have in here. So I think the next step to try is we can actually break on this action in the in your preview, and it'll stop. Like it'll stop all the code, and we'll be able to see what it's sending in, what's coming out, all that kind of stuff. Oh, I know what we can do before that. We'll do something a little easier. We'll check the network request. So let's cancel this and go back out to your preview. And are like the the site, I don't know, whatever you call it, the like not the studio version, the version that where if you hit preview at the top right and just look at it.
A preview on here, you mean?
Yeah. Fine. Perfect.
Okay,
and
so what should I do?
So what we'll do in here is at the bottom, there's the network tab. You're selected on console, but there's a network tab right next to it in the inspector.
Yeah.
Yep. So click on that. And then if you, we can just, we don't need to clear it out. So basically do the thing, like add a new one so that it runs. And then we're going to look in that network request. We're going to see a request for that database
Okay.
call, and then we'll check what it.
I got it. For example, this one, right? I clicked it, and here it is, pending 200.
So
Okay,
you can
payload.
check the payload and check that Rex, drop down that Rex, and let's see.
Okay.
So it's sending ID 0, and what that actually is. Can you go
This
back
one is
actually?
null.
Oh no,
Go back
that's the
where?
build ID. Never mind. I'm sorry. That's the build ID. It's sending null. You're right. Why would that be though? I can see it in there.
You know, sometimes I face with this kind of problems. I delete everything and create it again. It works in that
was my
situation,
next suggestion.
but I
not,
did
you don't
it
even
like
have to delete the
several
whole
times.
app. You can delete like just that field. Like here, actually, I'll show you like an easier way than the whole app. So go
No,
to
I
that.
just deleted it.
That
I
would
deleted the action, actually. I
that
didn't
would
delete
work
whole app.
potentially, yeah. But no, go before you try that under value to bring on the right. See how it says from variable when you hover over it. So like
Very
up
sorry.
up a little bit from where you are. Yeah, right in there. See how that says
Uh-huh.
from variable in the top right of that little section? And yeah, select like text or something in there.
Yeah, sure. Text. Here it is. The text.
And so like what that just did is that cleared out all the stuff in the JSON related to that variable. So now go back and select variable again. So instead of text, select from variable.
Set the text. I didn't get what you mean. Sorry. You mean that
I'm just
put
saying it
some-
so fast, and I know it's when it's new. This is crazy. Right above where your mouse is to the right, there's that field that you just changed. Yeah, text. Now
Okay,
change
text.
it back to from variable.
Okay, I got it.
It's the same as deleting the action and re-adding it, except I did it just to one field.
From the variable. Okay.
And then type
current
ID. Give it a shot.
ID. Here it is. Okay. And let's check it again.
Otherwise, it's like this might just be a weird bug because there's not much going on there and it all looks correct. You know what I mean? Like it's not you, it's going to be Bildr, I think.
Okay, let's go here. Let's put this here. Okay. Let's go here. For example, for this one, I don't know, worship. The ID is 4T. Let's take a look at here. Okay, data collection, tags. What was it actually? I clicked on it.
Network on the bottom.
Okay, let's put
Worship, I think.
worship. Yeah, worship.
Yes,
It's
okay.
here, and tag ID is empty.
Is there anything with maybe that's
Yeah, I have an
special
idea.
editing?
Well, actually, we saw as null, but see how tag ID is a number field? That's fine long term, but for now, switch that to a text field. So if you hover over tag ID, there'll be a 3-dot menu and change
Okay.
field type to text. The reason I say this is because text, like number, might not be outputting to us in the database because it's not a number, it's a string or something. Single line text will always output. So just make, and it looks like they're still blank.
Yeah,
Okay.
you might need to refresh. Sometimes that doesn't hit it right away.
Refresh like this,
Refresh
refresh or
or
refresh the whole
exit.
the page.
Exit and reload the tags collection. You don't have
Okay.
to.
Okay. So here it is. Yeah, that happens a lot in the actions. Sometimes I add action, change the place of the action, and it doesn't get saved, and I have to do it again when I move to other place.
Where are you right now?
Okay,
Yes.
here it is. Tag ID. What?
Still
Like
empty.
what region are you in and where is the project hosted? Do you know?
I don't know. Actually, the project is I don't check it on the live server. I just check it in the preview. But I don't have any internet connection problem right now. My internet speed is more than 50 megabits. Okay, so tag ID is text.
So yeah, so that's, you can just close this out now. I just want to make sure to eliminate that in case.
Okay. Eliminate them. Okay, let's eliminate them. Okay, tags.
And then let's go back and check the network on that preview. Let's check the network and make sure it probably sent null, but I just want to make sure that it's still, that it did.
Okay. Let's wait to this to get delete. Okay, here it is. Okay, so everything is fine. Let's check it again.
So yeah,
Right.
in here, yeah, at the bottom, go to network. And we just changed that action out a little bit. So I just wanted to see. Yeah, click something.
For example, air combat.
Mhm.
Okay, pending 200. Okay,
Yeah, I can see it's not.
payload
That is 0.
snow.
So, yeah.
Can you go back to the
Um,
studio for one thing, actually? I have an idea.
Okay, so
Yeah, in
what should I
here,
do?
looks like it's gonna be correct. You scroll up just like a tiny bit in that box. Yeah. Okay, cool. No, I just wanted to make sure it was on fields. There's not a chance that you have another collection in your project that has a tag ID field. Is there a chance of that?
I didn't think so. Here it is tags. The other one is tags list and users, and there isn't anything else here.
Well,
Just-
do any of the fields? Because see, right now you're selected on a field called tag ID, but I can't see what collection it's from. So I was just
the
trying
collection
to
data collection is tags. You can see here. Here it is.
right. This is a really confusing thing about Builder, but for every field mapping, you're also selecting the table. It has to do with how Builder is like really wide open. So there's like, if you get really advanced, you can do crazy things, but it makes it really confusing when you're coming in like this, because you would assume if you select tags collection at the top that everything else is referring to tags, but it actually isn't necessarily. So what we can do is in that first thing, close to your mouse where it says field and it says select a field and it's selected as tag ID. Yeah, change that
Here.
fields. Yeah, change fields where you are. That's perfect. Change it to text or something else, and then change it back to fields. So you can click that. Whatever. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Just
And
change
then-
it
Okay,
to
for
anything.
variable.
Can we
and-
just refer to that as input types, just so everyone knows those are input types?
Yeah.
Okay,
Now
so
that we
what
got
should
it,
I choose now?
Now do fields.
Field,
It's a little, it's down a little bit from where you are.
Fields.
I think,
Oh,
yeah,
here it
while
is.
we're doing that, I mean,
Okay.
definitely important to note, this action is intended to allow you to just choose the collection at the top so that your fields are only selected from that collection so that you don't have to do it every time.
Okay.
Well, that's not how the action
so-
works now, but that's how it will work when we fix it to work like that. But right now,
Okay,
it's
tags
select any
and
collection. So it's so confusing.
tag ID. Okay, that's right. Value to bring.
Actually, you know what?
What?
You're right, Josh. It's not supposed to give you that option, right?
No,
So
it
something's wrong
should-
with this action.
It should all be like. Let me,
Yeah. I take back what I said, because what the scenario I'm talking about does happen in other areas, but in this action, it's so like it's not working and something's up, like the action's acting funny. So maybe you do need to re-add this action, because specifically for this one, you shouldn't have had to select the collection field.
Okay, I should delete it and add it again.
Yeah.
yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
This is definitely a bug to clarify too, like something,
Yeah, this
something's
isn't
wrong.
your-
This is not like a you problem at all.
Okay.
So.
I'm still unclear on what the bug is.
Well, we don't know the
getting a null
bug.
value from a variable that exists with a value that we prove in the console log.
It's just not setting one of the values that's clearly set, but the other thing was like the action itself was weird and not correct. So it's like, who knows what's going on?
Gotcha. So this is definitely creating the record at this point, not updating it,
Yeah,
we're
it was
seeing it
creating, and that is what was intended.
what he's doing.
See,
Okay.
that worked correctly there. So like I have a feeling this will work because that was correct what just happened.
Okay, tag name. No, not this. Do I have it here? Tag name, right? Here it is. So everything is fine here. So-
Yep.
Cool.
We gotta test it now.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Okay, so let's just delete this too. Let's load this again. Okay, for example, CS
Yeah.
Pending
Can we make sure to look at the console log real quick?
console log, yeah, 37. I get the ID, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still null.
So it's yes, it's null. Let's take a
So
look
it's gonna
at
be the
this.
same. It'll be the same problem. It's
Uh,
something about that action's not accepting the.
I mean, I can't even imagine. Yeah, this is like full on bug territory though. Like I think we're probably gonna have to look at this separately and try to like figure this out. That was very strange what just happened. So
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's like
You don't think it's worth doing a breakpoint right now? Like that's what the next thing is?
It,
the breakpoint is not going to tell us much because we can already see that it's sending the value null to the API to like Bildr's API. So it's the breakpoint is just going to say null for that value. And we're
Yeah.
not going to
can
know
you
why.
do one
Is that
function-
tag ID the same? Like, look at the capitalization on this. Is that the exact
It
same?
is. I thought that
Yeah.
for a second, but it is. And also he selected it from a drop down anyway. So it's
Can we do one thing? Can you duplicate the console log and run it twice?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Once before and
Let's go
once
for it.
after.
And just making sure that it doesn't matter that those are don't wait in between.
shouldn't
Okay.
because those console logs are just outputting something.
So is it fine?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
run that twice.
Okay, so let's check that if it's working.
In the
here.
sane world, the second one should say null, not the ID, but I feel
Okay,
like it's
It-
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't got
Runs
through.
40 twice. So at least we can isolate.
41.
It's somewhere in
41.
that action. It's somewhere in that action is the problem. In the create data record.
the level that comes to my head is like there's an internal field in Bildr called tag ID or something. So it's an invalid, like something really deep and crazy. That's why I think it's not working. I mean, you could actually try if you wanted, just changing that field, create a new column or change the field name to something other than tag ID, stuff like that. But I think if you don't want to just spin your wheels and spend a bunch of time, we can actually look at it outside of this Bildr hours. We can like dive really deep and try to figure out what's going on because it does. I mean, it is a bug, 100%.
We need Dorian to look at
Okay.
it. Even the field ID, we use field IDs for that reason. So
It shouldn't. I mean, it shouldn't matter. But I was just saying it's like something on that level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the rest of it, how can I, for example, from this page, it's another page. How can I reload a repeating list here? What can I do for that?
So in the first place, are you loading them with that purple data tab or are you loading them with an action?
No,
that purple data
actually
tab?
here I get the data here from the collection list.
Yep.
And here this repeating list repeats these profile tags.
Yeah, I got you.
And
That's actually all I need to know for this level. If you, I mean, you can explain more if you think it's important, but that data tab right there is what I need to see, or not that one actually, the one on that grid list. Yeah, just click there. That are the repeating list. Sorry, that repeating list where there's three green tags. That right there, that's
Okay,
getting
here's-
loaded. That data is getting loaded with that purple data tab, and what you're on right now. And
Yeah.
what that means in Bildr is that it's getting loaded with the page binding flow.
yeah,
Page
yeah.
binding flow. There's a first action that's called like data binding or something. That action it goes into every element on the page, looks into those purple data tabs, says, is there something that needs to be, is there data that needs to be pulled in? And then it pulls it in. So one way that you can always like if you want to update that data or refresh those lists is you can run the page binding flow. The thing about that is that'll run page binding across your whole app. So it won't break anything. Like it's fine to do that, but you might not want to if you're binding a lot or there's other reasons you might not want to. So the other way to do that is if you use the action called element set value on any element, but if you use it on a grid list, on a repeating list specifically, then it's the same as using that purple data tab actually. So you can say you can create a flow and put one action that says element set value, set the value of the repeating list to from data collection and pull it in. Now you have a flow that you can call anytime you want to refresh that list. You get what I'm saying conceptually?
Yeah, I got it, what you said. I'm familiar with that, but how can I trigger that flow, that action from this other page, this add
Right.
person topic tag. It's another page.
Yeah.
How can I
So-
do that?
No, good question. So there's an action in Builder called run flow on page. So yeah, if you search for that, and
Run flow.
Nope,
Okay.
it's not there. It's further down.
yeah.
So just type in flow too. It's buried somewhere down here.
I
Type in
usually
run-
type run flow
Yeah, type
Run
in
flow.
type in run flow together.
Okay.
and then just scroll down a little. You'll see it on the right there.
There it
Yep.
is.
Run flow on page.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you add that in right now, even if you have to delete it? I don't know what action we're in, but just to show you in here, because there's like a key thing that might be helpful for you. Once it
Okay.
loads.
So
So the first thing is you select the page and the action. So that's going to run that action on that page. And you have to actually select the page itself. You can do parent page for a detailed reason, but it'll still make you select the page. And then, yeah, you select the action underneath. And then
okay, good. Then.
the key here
I
that's
got it.
not obvious. I'll wait till you select this actually.
He hasn't
Okay.
created the flow on that page yet.
Oh, yeah.
You
yeah.
No,
need to
I
go-
didn't create it. Yeah, I will create it later. Okay.
Yes.
For
It's
for
okay, for
now,
example-
Create the flow on the page, then you go
I
to
got
where you
it.
need to run it, add this action, select that parent page that has the flow on it and select the flow.
and I think, yeah, so you get that part, but I want to explain one really confusing thing so you don't beat your head against the wall trying to figure this out. If you scroll
Okay.
down below a little bit, there's these fields for variable name and variable value. So
Yeah.
when you run flow on page and you like right now you chose parent page, so it's only going to run on the parent page. It's only going to run on one page. But if you didn't select parent, if you just selected new person page, you could have a repeating list might have like 8 or 10 of those pages on your in your app, right? You might have multiple instances. So sometimes you're going to want to update just one instance. And that's where you use that
okay.
variable name. That variable name and variable value is a filter. So you don't have to worry about how it works because you don't need to use it yet. But I just wanted to call that out because at some point you're going to say, you're going to run an action on another page, but it's going to run in multiple places, or it's going to run in every row on a grid list. And you're going to be like, I didn't want it to do that. So you have to kind of keep in mind,
Okay.
that you use the run flow on page, sometimes you filter it. And then that'll unlock a lot for you in Builder in general.
Okay, I got it. So I have to actually the workflow that I want to do is right. I have to do this, and after that work that flow on that page, and I will get that list, right? And for eliminating, for example, right now here, I have. Let's see, where is this? For example, here when I have those 3 tags, okay, if I want to, eliminate those 3 from here, I should, I think I should, is it possible to do that with this one, I think, am I right? Filter data set by another data set. Am I right? I should use this?
No, well, I would say no. In this case, you kind of could use that. Builder's really funny because you can do everything a million ways. But if you did that, it wouldn't actually delete it. It would just filter it out from the view. And
yeah, I just want to filter it. I don't want to get.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, there's 2 ways. Filter data set by a data set means basically filtering an array by an array. And there's another one that's filter data set by a value, and that's like filtering an array by a value. So you most likely want to filter an array by a value, but you could use either depending on the situation. But that one, you're filtering an array by an array. I don't know if that's actually what you want.
Yeah, actually, I have an array of things here. I want to, filter these arrays from that other list.
Okay.
Okay, IDs.
Hey guys, just pinging. We've got 20 minutes left and we've got a few people left to go. So if we
Okay.
could give Masoud some guidance and then keep going. And
Yeah, I would say just ask in Discord if you hit issues, but like we just gave you a bunch of different nuggets to kind of like wrap your head around. And it seems based on what you have, I feel like you'll pick this stuff up and be able to run with it.
Okay, yeah,
Just ask
sure.
for help.
And then for the actual data collection, the issue with the create data collection
Oh, yeah,
action, I just chatted you, Masoud, if you can create a support ticket for that from your project, it'll give us the details. And then just if we need a user to test, to be logged in, give us that information. And then that way that'll come to us and we can go in and repeat it and then get it sorted.
Okay, sure.
Great.
Okay, then. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Masoud, for letting us guide you a little bit. Next, I'd love to go through Prolax's Google Auth questions real quick, because I think we can answer those out. And then I believe Darian had some question or something to go through. So for Prolax's question, he was asking for the Google Auth element, if the not recording of email addresses is intentional. Do you guys know that? Or is this a Dorian question?
I might know. I'm not really an expert with the Google Auth, but I mean, I know what
then
you're
we're gonna skip it and let's just go to the how to trigger a server-side function from the front end, because I think you have quick.
That I know. Is this just we're just doing it for the recording?
Mhm.
Yeah. So for server-side functions, this is a general question where if you create your own server-side function, and then you're like, okay, like how do I run it? Like how can I run it? And it's kind of a hidden thing in Bildr that will be exposed and more obvious later. But right now, what you do is when you create a server-side function, it actually gives you automatically, Bildr will create a secret in the project that is that server-side function. It's a URL to access that server-side function. So then to use it, you drop in the generic API call action, and on the URL, instead of the input type of text, you change that to secrets, and you make the URL the secret of your server-side action. So it's a little bit unintuitive in a way, but what that's really doing is it's like hiding that URL in a secret, and then when you use it, everything that Bildr needs is like contained. If you look at the URL, it's a crazy long URL. You never want to read it, but everything's contained in that secret, and Bildr handles it on the back end. And then it'll give you like the response, just like an API call. Like the response will come back as a variable or whatever, however you have it set. So in your server side function, it's up to you, but you should have it output some JSON.
So so we don't they don't put that function in an action and actually run that in a flow. They do that via an API.
The action that you run in the flow is the API call action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you.
Darian, are you still around? Are you ready to show your screen and walk us through what you need help with?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And it's actually building on the same project we talked about last week. So maybe some folks are still familiar, but forget what we did last week. Oh yeah, so I was able to fix the reload issue. I'll ask a question about variables in a second. One was, besides logging the variable, is that the easiest way to find out what it is? I tried to actually locate it in the sources, and it's just kind of too much to go through. So maybe that's a quick question.
I can tell you if you want to, if you have a place to like copy and paste 2 lines, I can send you some stuff and show you what to do to find variables. It's not super intuitive, but it's really easy once you know.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to just put it in the chat?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I have to type it. I have to type it into Bildr to like get it first. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. And while you're doing that, I'll sort of close this here and explain what the next thing I want to have happen is when I click to create a task. I want to open it up right away rather than I think the default thing that happened in whatever Mark created here is it just adds it here and then you have to click on it. So basically what I'm trying to do is use the new record ID when that's created to display this stuff. But for some reason, I don't think I can get it to work. So I called this flow create task plus edit. So first we create the task, that works just fine. I'm doing that Unix timestamp thing we talked about last time. And then I am waiting till that record's created, and then I want to do the edit. So that opens the thing. You saw that opened it correctly, but it doesn't bind all the correct data. So what I was asking about is if I use this new record ID, should in theory all this stuff that is bound here actually be correct? And this is all using the purple data tab. Or do I need to like somehow rerun page binding or something to get this to work correctly?
In theory, it should work, but there's lots of reasons why it might not.
Okay.
Can you instead of using that top ID filter, use the ID filter in the actual filters beneath this?
You also don't have any fields selected like that. What Josh is talking about, you're probably gonna have to do, I think. But do you
Oh,
also
yeah,
right now? I can
definitely.
see it definitely won't work because there's no field selected.
Oh, you mean, okay, I
Under
see.
fields.
Here.
Before, yeah, just do get all fields there.
I think I actually had this at get all fields and it still wasn't working, but we can try it really quickly. Let's try it. Let's refresh really quickly. All right, so this should be an in progress task. Let's see when we add it. If it pops up and has the right stuff.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, so it's status completed, which is incorrect. This looks like a task that already exists because it has notes.
It's probably not finding that ID that you're trying to filter by and giving you the first record.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. So I'm trying to filter by.
Just do what Josh said and move that ID from that spot. This is like a weird thing, like that field called IDs. I think it actually works and it's supposed to work, but it's weird sometimes. So like we've
Okay.
basically like stopped using it. Like I just use
So
it now.
We might remove it. Yeah, we might remove
We don't
it.
need it. There's no reason to have it. We should remove it.
so
Probably.
you're saying just like leave this as blank or
Yeah, remove the new record out of there and like set it to text or something just to make sure you clear it out. You could probably just set it to text. That'll be fine.
okay.
The
And
reason
then
it's there is so that you could do like a comma separated value and target like specific IDs, because technically
Got it.
the filter we're about to do does not let you do multiple value matches, but there's some other random complications that comes with that. So we're going to use the filter under filters halfway down.
Yep.
And that's where you'll filter against the ID.
Okay, so here I can just say I want to filter an ID and I want to filter it with the new record ID.
Yep.
Make
You
sure
gotta do a variable though, because you're doing
yeah.
text now.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Common
totally.
thing. I do that like once a week or so. I
Yeah.
why it doesn't work.
And this, what I was going to ask, why does this one not show up in a list here? Is it because it's not like it doesn't persist? So
The way
it's
that
not
they
like a
show up
drop
in the
down?
list is like, you know how like Bildr is really open and versatile. The way they show up in the list is like really complex, and sometimes they just get missed, or sometimes some lists don't show it. But you should like understand that like typing a name of a variable that you know is a real variable will always work. Like that list is not the source of truth. It's
Got
a list. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. This in theory should work. We're getting all fields and we want the ID to be new record ID. All right, let's try this. So far, not working. Maybe we reload. And let me just check JSON. The other thing I was going to ask just on the data format, I know sometimes I've had to use a CSV or comma separated for this to work. What's like the sort of theory behind when we want to be using JSON versus comma separated in the action return?
So typically if you're targeting there could be other scenarios, but normally if you're targeting an individual value out of a data collection this way, like you're returning one specific field, by doing a CSV, you're basically saying, I just want that value, no commas, because there's not separating anything. So it'll just be that individual value. The alternative, if you do JSON array, the brackets are going to exist around the value you pull out no matter what, even if you just got one value. So normally you're going to want to use comma separated, typically if you're targeting one specific value out of the data collection through this filter.
Got it. So I might as well just change this to comma separated because it's just one.
Yeah.
Well, no,
you always want JSON. Most of the time you want the JSON array. The real difference is JSON array is going to give you key value pairs like field, name, value, name, field name, value, name, field name, value. I mean, comma separated is just value.
So maybe if I'm like printing or something, it's easier to use a comma.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's basically just if you're going to display the value directly. Otherwise, you almost always want the JSON, because when you're using values in Bildr, using the JSON is much clearer and much easier, and you have more control. So it's like if a human is going to see it on your front end as the value, that's comma separated, and almost every other time it's going to be JSON array.
Okay.
There's
and-
exceptions, obviously.
And there's no reason to limit to one if I know there's only one match for a new record
Yeah.
ID.
Sometimes I do that, just, just like as an anecdote, but there's definitely no reason.
Okay, let's check to see if this did anything. Let's try it over here. So we're still getting a different.
Well, let's do this variable thing. I'll show you. I pasted something, but we'll troubleshoot this using what I pasted you, because we can check what record is loaded in this page right now and what it has.
All right.
But if we create a new one and leave it open, we can do it.
All right. So we need to.
So just create a new task first. So pop that back up.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Let me just create a new task.
And now this is, so I'm going to troubleshoot this, but I'm also going to tell you how to find variables, the thing that you asked first.
Okay.
So what you do is right click on the area that you're in and inspect. And to find it's the last.
Yeah, the Zoom thing is just in front of
sorry.
it. Let me click a little higher. I hate when that happens. All right.
So in here, the way you can find variables, and actually let me preface too, this system I'm about to show you is gonna like finally go away in a very short time when we have our debugger. We're gonna have a Chrome extension that'll automatically tell you your variables. But for now,
nice.
in the console down there, all the way at the bottom, you can type things that'll show you your variable.
I'll just bring it up here.
Yeah. You can even click that like clear out thing, that icon that looks like the Ghostbusters logo. You want to clear it, yeah. All right, so I pasted you some explanation, but really like 2 lines that you paste. There's 2 ways you find variables. One is if it's on the root main page, like the page with the URL route. And the other one is if the variable's on a page that's like loaded inside your page.
Mhm.
And in this case, that pop-up is a page loaded inside a page. Because you did open page, create a record and open page. So what you do to find these variables for a page inside of a page is first you right click and inspect onto the page, which you just did. So you're actually selected on that page.
Yep.
Now, if you look in the chat, there's the last line of what I chatted that starts with $0.
Yep.
Just take that line and paste it into the console.
Okay.
And then press enter. And it's actually saying there's no variables on that page. That's what that means.
So I think I get I actually create on the parent, I think, before I open this.
Well, so that page, when you open a page with a record, it gets a variable for every page. That page is supposed to have the context of your new record. So it's supposed to have a variable.
Oh, so it should have the variable. Yeah, I see.
Variables.
Okay. Yeah, but I do create it on this other task page.
Yeah, I mean that page will have the variable at the bottom called like new record ID.
Yep.
That page will have the Lightbox page that opened up should have variables for the actual data that's in it, and it didn't. That's why it didn't load any information. It didn't have those.
Got it.
I'm not exactly sure why.
I think probably because it didn't open this specific record context
Did you
correctly.
Did you select specific record context there? Because that's actually probably not correct. I think that should be nothing for that one. Like maybe, is there a way to clear that out?
It should be a specific record. Because
No, not in this case, because you're opening page and see below, you're creating the record and it's getting the context of the newly created record. It's not. Oh, I guess specific is that.
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it from the specific newly created
yeah,
ID.
I don't know if this record, I don't know if this action has changed since I last used it. Maybe. Oh, you're just using open page in a container.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what you can do. That's a lot easier. There's an action called create record and open in a container, and it does all this for you.
Oh, actually,
That's what I thought you were using.
Yeah.
So that's
No,
why
sorry. That would be good. Let's just make a new flow and do that.
Yeah.
Create.
I mean, I don't know why you're doing it work, to be honest, but if you do this, it's all behind the scenes and it should hopefully definitely work. Yeah, so if you search for like create, maybe I saw it, there it is. Create an open page in a container. And what this will do, it's like pretty similar. So you'll select the collection, select and map your fields.
Yeah, and then and I see then a page
open and you select whatever that Lightbox page was, which I don't.
Yeah, I actually created a duplicated and created a new one, but I think. Okay, I think I can figure this out now that works correctly. That'll be super easy.
Yeah.
Do you know why the other one was not working? And can we maybe like, I guess we could console log to make sure our new record ID actually got created, or does that pretty much always work?
You can, in this case, you can't console log new record. I don't even know if it uses that variable on the front end. It kind of like does it behind the scenes, but in the other one, I'm guessing it didn't work because of timing. Like maybe the record took a second to create, but you ran the thing to open it before it's created. Like, I think it's going to be something like that.
Okay.
And I think that this will handle all that timing for you. So I don't know, if it was me personally, I wouldn't even troubleshoot the other one. I would actually, if this one didn't work, I would continue to troubleshoot, but I feel like the other one was just
Okay.
like probably timing and just something that was like random, not something like fundamental.
Yeah, because I did have another issue where I tried to modify a record with the new record ID, I think, and it wasn't like working. And so I was wondering if there was just an issue with the new record ID or something.
Not that I know of, but I mean, that is a chance, I guess. Like, I feel like we sort of had a couple similar issues here, and that's like, you have two of them. So maybe, but as far as I know, there's no record. I mean, I use that all the time. I don't have any problems right now.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that's all then. I just, let me make sure I copy this stuff from the chat. It's good to hear that a new debugger is coming. And yeah, thanks for that.
I'd add to, even it's hard to remember that there's an action that we have now as well that's just get all page variables, and you can target a page by current, parent, or root. And so you can get them all in a variable via a JSON array or just a JSON array of objects. And then you could print it in the console log as well. So even if you don't remember that, there's an action that you can
called get all variables. Got it.
Yeah, get all variables from page or something like that.
Okay, thanks, Josh.
All right, y'all. So it looks like we have 2 minutes left. And Kirito, I know that you had needed some help. Was it a quick question, or is it something that's more involved that we need to continue in Discord?
It's a quick question. So I just
Okay.
want to show something. I just need a small question, like maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, we can do 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I just need the way to actually do it. So basically, I tried building something with Wizard. This is another tool. I tried building, but this seems pretty limited. So I initially moved with Builder, but then I thought let's jump on new tools. Like, for example, let me show you. What it does is, it basically, when I click generate, it generates the itinerary, and it gives you the titles to create I think, let me check. Yeah, you can see this. This gives you certain titles, and this is generated by OpenAI. It's just prompt engineering that I have done. So it's basically to give something in array format. Okay. So I want to replicate that same thing with Builder. So number one thing I'm facing some issues with is this action. It's that prompt is the messaging. This is the system message. Prompt is the user message. I think content. But how the data is getting saved, I'm not sure. Where is the data getting saved and all that? Which is the variable, or where exactly? So
do you have like a way you want to save it, or are you just like
yes.
Works?
Yes. So what I want to do is I'm trying to build it's gonna be similar to this, right? The data will be in array format. Okay. If you see if I try to build something, if I try to show you, just let me show you.
Drew, I think what you're really asking is it going to be living in a data collection in Builder, or is it just something that's displayed and it doesn't need to be kept? Is that right?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's like the first part. Like, I assume you want to save it in a data collection. That's what I wanted to confirm that. And then the other part of it is like that action can be, it can automatically save it in a data collection and like manage that for you as a chat. But I actually don't think that's what you want in this case. I think in this case, you're asking it something, you're getting a response back. You just want to save that data, right?
Yeah, no, point one. So this is basically a bit tricky on that side, right? So what I do want is I want to get data like this. For example, I just want to get the data. Just let me check. Okay, this is the query parameter. The data like this, and then what happens is that from the title we generate the outlines, right? For example, there will be a button or maybe a copy button or something like that. Then we generate the outline, and the outline in the title and the keyword are going to be saved. This like this 5
Don't
output
say.
are not going to be saved,
Oh,
right?
okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is the second step. I mean, like I'm actually stuck in the first step where you generate a repeating like element list from the JSON, from the array data that's given, and like regarding to that, right?
So what you're gonna do from like a conceptual point of view would be you run this action, it's gonna return you JSON. That's what I think I saw. It's returning the JSON, right? So when you get that response, it's gonna be a variable in Builder of JSON, and you don't need to save it or anything yet. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna set that JSON into a repeating list.
Specifically, it shows array, but can we do it with JSON also? Like we can do that. Yeah.
So what you're gonna need to do in this case is tell OpenAI, either in your behavior or in your prompt, you're gonna tell OpenAI to return JSON in a specific format. So it's a little tricky there, but not really. You're just gonna give it an example of the format. You're gonna say like, return
single shot prompting. Yeah, single shot.
Yeah, and just make sure that when it gives you whatever it gives you back, if it's like a list of titles, make sure it's JSON that's like title value, title value, title value, because that's what's going to allow you to set it into a repeating list. And then in that repeating list, you're going to have a variable called title. You can use however you want. You can make a button that says do another API action to make the outline. So the first step is having OpenAI give you back a correct JSON with key value pairs. And then you just do set that value into a grid list, and it'll work as if you set the grid list from Builder data.
For example, let's do that also in JSON format. Format, like where the key is title and the value is key is title, the value is
yeah, you might have to finesse it if that doesn't work, but you're on the right method here.
so
Plan on it not working out like perfectly and maybe refining the prompt a bit.
One thing I do
I think OpenAI actually released a function, so I was just researching on that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people are really excited about that. I think that's not what people think actually. It like gives you a way to return like literally a JavaScript function. It's like really cool, but it's not the same as just returning JSON like people think. But that's okay. It might be. I don't really look too much into it.
It's returning arrays actually. So I just checked upon that. It returns array in a good format.
Yeah. What I do is I tell it in the prompt. I say here's like I give it an example of the format I want it to return. I say return it in this format only, and I write out the JSON like curly bracket. Like I write, but like sometimes you don't have to do that. It's just prompt engineering.
So basically, you're just I get it. So we are just like short prompting it. Yeah. I think so. This is let us check again. So
we can check it real quick, and then we're going to need to wrap. So hopefully you can get at least a couple steps further.
Well, I think like, yeah, you'll probably need to play with it a bit. It'll be cool if it worked first try. We'll see. But the concept to understand is just to make it return the JSON, set that JSON into a repeating list. I think that's what'll help you get to the next step of where you need to go.
Yeah. Similarly, like how the data is like, which is the variable data is getting saved to. I'm like really confused about that too. Like for example, the response you get, this is the response.
Yeah.
Content, but I'm not sure like so what I tried, at least when the storage method is custom, I wasn't able to find any of the videos that actually refer to this.
For what you're doing, forget about the storage completely. So that's just like what you're doing is you're asking one question, you're getting one response. The storage is for like a conversation, like a chat. So what you actually care about is a little bit down below. There's going to be something that says variable name for response. which I don't know actually what it's called in this specifically.
Variable name for
Uh,
these things.
The
Josh, do
response,
you know if you have to set it to something else just to get the responsive error? I know you can do it. I just did it. I just don't remember.
yeah, I think the way I've done it in the past is actually in the follow-up flow, I grab it from the cookie and then I set it via that variable to something else. Because I think this one doesn't allow, you can change it to like local storage or data collection, but because it's using the 2 reference records, I don't think there's a variable.
I just used this and I did what I'm talking about. I know you can. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, like maybe you have to select something different for that. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know.
So like,
Okay, guys.
It's been a little bit since I've used it specifically to do this.
I mean, how do like that's the thing, right? I'm just trying to like just get the data to some variable maybe.
Yeah, that see that
Something.
response variable name that you had there, that might have been it. I flashed away too fast, but somewhere that API call is going to output a variable.
Response variable name is this.
That might be it.
Yeah, that looks right. I mean, that looks right.
So like, yeah, so like whatever you type in there, just type like you're making up the variable name for the response. You can type whatever you want. Now, when that runs and it's done, you're gonna have a variable content response, and you have to output this in the you have to create a flow. Like don't put it after that action, put it in the flow to run. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, you just need to like success flow set up.
Because OpenAI specifically takes a long time to run, so you have to do that with them. Sometimes you get away with not doing that, but not in this case.
All right, guys, we're past 8 minutes, so we're going to give it 1 more minute and then I'm going to have to end the call so we can keep going on building and
We can
then
keep going on this
pick up
through
in Discord.
too. Yeah, I'll be able to help through Discord.
It's just maybe like set value or maybe console.log or something like that.
Yeah, you can console log if you want to see it, but in real life, you will be doing set value and setting it into the repeating list.
Maybe like this displays and just set it up to from a variable that's this variable, right? So just generate title OpenAI, then where is it? Yeah, successful response, success flow. I think this is what we are looking forward with. Let me refresh it.
And then this will be like this actual variable is like a JSON array. So you have to like parse through. So there'll be more to it help you with, but yeah.
Like using paths and all that, I can pass that. Yeah, all right, you're getting it.
Sweet.
Okay, woo! All right, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us on this call and letting us help you. We'll be back next Thursday along with Pro office hours. If you've got a Pro project, you get some dedicated special time for that. If you have any questions, you can chat Josh. Otherwise, we'll see you next Thursday. I will upload this as soon as I can. Have a great weekend and goodbye.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.